Hyson Green, where crime and prostitution has its breeding ground, where old ladies are beaten up and robbed of their savings, where the knuckle duster and the knife settle more arguments than words. One spring morning, about 20 years ago, a well-known local shopkeeper quite mysteriously disappeared. Everything in the shop was in order and in its place, and his car was still parked outside the shop. Police inquiries at the time drew a complete blank. The man had disappeared quite literally from the face of the earth. But those who reckon they know about such things say that the man is still in Hyson Green. He was murdered, and his body was buried beneath that block of flats, which was then being built. The Hyson Green Flats complex, a tomb not just for a shopkeeper, but a concrete monument to those days of 20-odd years ago when local authorities throughout much of Britain were charged with providing a record number of new living units. Like many other local authorities of the time, Nottingham answered the demand for housing by building upwards and by creating what today everyone admits was the biggest planning blunder of our time. Streets in the sky, they said. 31 walkways above ground level, linking together 700 flats. Just one play area for the kids. Graffiti covers the walls. It has an uneasy presence. Locals call it Alcatraz. 2,000 people packed into these grim barracks, many one-parent families. Surrounding it all, the rest of Hyson Green's problem. Row after row of back-to-back 19th century houses, many offering private rented accommodation. Many are brothels, others harbour drug addicts and junkies. It's against this background that crime flourishes. Superintendent Derek Shentle, Sub-Divisional Police Commander for Hyson Green.
Hyson Green has a very high crime rate. Last year it was just short of 10,000, which is double the sub-divisional crime loads for this county. And indeed it's one of the highest in the country.
Why is that?
Well, I would suppose really because we've got a large conurbated area which varies in its environment from the richest of the rich to the poorest of the poor.
I think a lot of people are disturbed by the fact that more and more crimes are involving quite young children, 10, 11, 12 years of age.
Yes, that is a fact. We as police officers are also concerned. A lot of time is spent with the juveniles, particularly those who commit offences. The Chief Constable, Mr. McLaughlin, identified this in his first annual report and made it quite clear that we were concerned, but also made it clear that in addition to the interest shown by the police, that other agencies, and particularly the parents, have got specific responsibilities in this area.
Mrs. Canterby, you're the Secretary of the Nottingham Legion for the Housebound, one of the volunteer organisations bringing help to the families here. What do you find?
Well, basically the areas like this, it's nearly all old people that can't get out for one reason and another, being terrorised in these sort of concrete jungles. I've 3 calls to go to today, 3 people who can't get out, 2 of which I know for a fact have had to go to the police over this sort of terrorisation. You know, sort of lighted newspaper through letterboxes.
Are those people in the flats today?
I should think so. Only me, love. Hello, love. I'm from Nottingham Legion for Housebound. What? Nottingham Legion for Housebound, love. Secretary. You've been having some trouble with the young folk around here.
Plenty of boys come and every day. How them come from school, if have them to go to school, special. Come here, I can sit at my home.
Well, would you
banging door by football, put something dirty by door, banging window, I still trembling that window will be broken.
Yeah.
I'm old, I'm poorly with heart and blood pressure. I never go out, only early to church.
What time do they usually come round, love?
In the evening, all evening.
All evening?
Every day. Especially Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday? Well, look, love, if I can find somebody...
Nobody interesting. I've been...
Oh, we're interested,
No,
love.
nobody interesting from neighbors. Never come, never help.
Yeah.
One man who perhaps sees more of Hyson Green life than most is the curate of the parish, Roy Catchpole. Only hours before helping us make this report, he was with a young teenager. As they talked, the teenager was quite freely and openly pumping drugs into his veins with a hypodermic syringe. Roy Catchpole is well suited for the parish he serves. He's an ex-thief and whilst in prison claims he saw the light.
Well, it's a hellhole. Basically, if you ever look around, you see people can't get down to gardens. People on the bottom floor have got a little bit of a garden, but they're being sort of torn up all the time. But most of the 700 sort of flats got no garden at all. All they've got is walkways, concrete, nowhere to play for the kids really.
It must be soul-destroying, your job, working in an environment like this.
The thing is, you can't do anything, you know. I mean, you come in sort of starting to think, well, perhaps we can do something for the people. But basically, they're all sort of happy kind of people. And you sort of, in my job, get used to the fact that they are sort of generally happy, they accept what happens to them. And you end up knowing that you can't do anything really.
Tough neighbourhood then?
Yeah, it is tough. They have to live in a tough sort of way. But as I say, they get on all right. They have their arguments and ding-dongs and that, you know. But looking at it from outside, it looks rough. For some people it is rough, like Mrs. Bilson and that, you know. But most of the people, I think, sort of enjoy being here. But if you offer them a chance to get out, they get out.
Right, can you give me some examples, some of the cases that you have to deal with?
Well, there's everything, really. There's a lot of drugs taken in the flats. I mean, mainlining stuff, you know, in the arm, not just sort of pills. There's quite a bit of prostitution around in the area. But given all this, you see, we say people would leave if they got the chance, but then there's Mrs. Bilson who doesn't want to leave. There's more than just sort of wanting to get out. There is, in spite of everything, a sort of a community feeling, safety.
How do they accept you and your dog collar?
Oh, they let me in. I went and knocked on a lady's door this morning, asked if I could use her bog, and she was quite happy about it.
Do they know your background?
I think most of them do, yeah.
They've known you've done time and...
Yeah, well, I don't come sort of shooting at them with a big posh voice and all that, you know. Just a clergyman.
Maybe the biggest contribution which could be made to the Hyson Green problem would be to raze to the ground the flats, Alcatraz, and provide new and real homes for the 2,000 who live here. It may also answer another problem and clear up a mystery of 20-odd years ago. That shopkeeper who on that spring morning quite mysteriously disappeared.